EA is in some serious trouble when it comes to Battlefront 2. Disney actually talked to them about how they were handling the Star Wars brand.
Oh, man.
Not only that, so very real danger, I would say, of losing that license. Also, do you want to know how much stock they lost over this? How much their stock has gone down by?
How much?
You're not going to believe it. $3.1 billion.
Nice.
And I'm going to resist the urge to rant for a moment because I really want to on this. But I have to say, I'm really happy that gamers actually wised up this time. Because a lot of complaining is done over, oh, well, I've got to buy this version of this game if I want that much of the game. If you pay $60, you're getting like this horribly stripped down version of the game. You're not getting the full game. If you want the full game, you got to go all in. You got to like pay more than twice what the starter version is, and it's all because of developers' costs and all that nonsense. And then they would go out and they would pre-order it anyway. But that's not what happened with Battlefront 2. When that whole thing with Reddit happened, where they were telling them, why they were putting characters like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker behind a 20-hour grind, when they said oh, well, we want players to have a sense of achievement when they get it, and then no one bought it, a lot of gamers just canceled their pre-orders. They just flew out the window for EA. And now they're trying really hard, and when I say really hard is they're backing off of loot boxes for a little bit. But it's so crazy that they tried to do this. They even tried to rationalize oh, well, this is what we just didn't balance things out correctly. This is the Electronic Arts chief financial officer. His name is Blake Jorgensen. He said, "We pulled off on the microtransactions because the real issue the consumer had was they felt it was a pay-to-win mechanic." Because it was, Blake. He goes on to say, the reality is there's different types of players in games. Some people have more money than time, and some people have more time than money, and you want to always balance those two. When you put main characters behind a 20-hour grind, and then, you know what else I found out? When you get them, they're weak. You actually have to level them up once you get them. So you have to put more time into making Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, worth using in the game. So that's even more grinding in the game. Or you could just buy stuff. You just pay to win. The whole nonsense about some players have more time than money and some people have more money than time. No, you've got people out there that have a lot of both. Okay? And those are the ones that are going to be at the top of the scoreboards. And then you know what happens? Then we have a baseball situation where some people are basically taking steroids in the form of microtransactions and they're beefing their characters up to the top, and they're just raining pain down on everyone else. You kill competition by doing that. If you could stop chuckling for a moment. I know you've got a good thought in there.
I don't understand how they did so bad with the first one, and then they came back and messed up
And made it worse.
so much harder
So much worse.
than I'm sure any of them could have imagined it going. But they did imagine it.
Yeah.
And there's no way they didn't see it coming. And I can see people being like, well, with other games, like, there are a bunch of games that, like, 30 million people play where you can, do microtransactions to get, characters and other things like that. And I use this a lot because it's a really good example. League of Legends, you can either play games to get in-game currency, or you can use real money to buy things like champions or skins. Skins you can only buy with real money, but the skins don't actually affect your gameplay at all. They just affect how you look.
It's aesthetics, yeah.
Exactly. And the champions, the only difference between buying the champion and playing games to get the in-game currency to buy the champion is that people who buy the champion with just money when it comes out, they just get to have a better feel for it. But it's skill, not they buy a level 50 version of that character, and when you grind to get in-game currency to get that character, you get it at level 1, and you have to then, like, go at it like that. The rune system was annoying, and I haven't talked about that. That's about the only thing that really annoyed me about League of Legends. You could buy runes to basically, like, make yourself do more damage, or have better defense, faster. You could be faster, or you could have a quicker cooldown by like a second or two more than like someone else. And I thought I was just bad at the game, when in reality, I never spent any of my in-game currency on runes. So I wasn't...
You just weren't allocating your resources effectively because you're still kind of new to the game.
Exactly. And I didn't realize that literally everyone bought runes. So I was just naturally weaker than other people. And you can buy it in in-game currency, or you can buy it in real currency. But thankfully, in the preseason and in the next season of League, they've got rid of the runes, and they replaced it with an entirely new system that everyone gets. It's all free. Everyone can, like, set up their rune page. Like, everyone. No one has an advantage over anyone else.
Yeah.
The only bad thing is that now everyone has to figure out what goes with what champion, which is annoying. But
it's just this whole pay to have an advantage over, even if it's not as bad as like the whole Luke and Darth. I mean, those are. I'm glad that they're making the change though, with League of Legends. Like EA just goes further. They're just like, how much more money can we get out of these people? It's terrible. And I honestly, like, if I were Disney, I wouldn't give EA another chance to mess up. Like, this was their second chance.
I feel bad for DICE.
DICE isn't... Yeah, this is going to tarnish DICE's reputation as well.
Yep.
And it's all EA's fault. It's like, you guys...
DICE is just along for the ride, and...
They're the ones who actually make the game. Not EA. EA finances it.
That
Man,
sucks.
they're a terrible company. They just are terrible.